What's going on? I'm Fabian for Liberty. FabianForLiberty.com is my website. Just a reminder, tickets went on sale yesterday. I'll be in New York on March 21st for an all-day live event on setting up your virtual real estate investing business. And speaking of business, or really economics, today on the podcast, new episode, the link is down below if you haven't heard it before. You could tune in, subscribe if you enjoy it, leave me a review if you like it, hate it. I talked about these recent developments that are going on in Russia, and I think they're very, very important. I think they mirror what we saw happen in World War I to a certain extent. And we've clearly seen Western forces come together to completely try to destabilize the Russian economy, both the ruble and, of course, the collapse in oil prices, which have led to the slide in the ruble down 50% in 2014 alone. Now, new sanctions were levied against the Russians just a few days ago, in addition to stoking the flames and making the situation in Ukraine more violent by providing them lethal military aid in their fight against these eastern Ukrainian separatist rebels, whatever you want to call them. So the question is, where do we go from here? You know, I talked today on the podcast, really great commentary from Simon Black over at Sovereign Man Confidential. I have no relation or association with him, but he puts out great work, so if you haven't heard of him, I'd check him out. And he basically was talking and comparing the data between the US dollar and the Russian ruble. Now, personally, even before I saw this email, I'm probably going to go buy some ruble this week, because why wouldn't I? It's down 50%. Is Russia going to go away? I don't think they will. I mean, they have a massive military. Putin has 85% approval rating. They have tons of gold. And that was his point. His point was, not only is it a potential great buying opportunity, but also when you look at the capital reserves of the Federal Reserve, the Central Bank of America, versus the Russian Central Bank capital reserves are almost 12 times larger than the Federal Reserve. In addition, the Federal Reserve proudly proclaims on their website they don't own any gold, where the Russians have been buying over 100 tons of gold year after year. So clearly, I think it's like a game of chess, and this is an analogy that's often used. You know, if Putin truly is the better chess player than, let's say, the empty suit that we have here in America named Obama, who couldn't basically sell me an iPhone at Best Buy. If he was, if you look at the two, you ask yourself, well, who is outsmarting the other here? Putin has major support from the Russian people. The Russians right now, I believe, look at what's going on, and they think they're under attack economically. This is full-blown economic warfare. So that plays into Putin's role as this kind of savior for Russia. Now, many people could say, look, I morally agree with Putin to begin with, because the truth is that he is under attack economically by the West. And certainly that is going on. So where does it go from here? Well, that's a really interesting point to think about the different scenarios. Now, of course, I've talked about the global economic reset now for almost 2 years. And one of the things that I've said in all this fallout between the West and Russia, Russia's gotten closer to China. They've gotten really close. And I think we're going to see that emergence, continuing to see that emergence of the Eastern superbloc power. The other thing is that the Russians play an instrumental role in these Iranian nuclear deals. You could easily see the Russians help Iranians get a nuclear weapon and destabilize the region even more. I mean, should the Iranians have the ability to get nuclear power? Of course they should. So does the West. Why wouldn't they want to have that? And for that matter, why wouldn't they want to have a nuclear weapon when the Pakistanis, the Indians, the Israelis, they all have a bunch of them? So we're seeing things, I think, line up. People are picking sides. I think that you're seeing, with respect to the global economic reset and the fall of the dollar as the world reserve currency. We'll still use the dollar. Like in England, they still use the British pound, which I just bought a bunch of British pounds because I'm going to London next month. But point is that we'll still use the dollar, I believe. But the question is, what impact, when it loses the world reserve currency status, will it have on prices for everything you shop for? Short term, I think that we'll continue to see gold prices and silver prices go down. And I think we'll see stocks and real estate go up because the criminals guarding the hen house, they are buying up gold and silver like crazy. And they're speculating the housing and stock market to the upside. But when the thing goes down, they will profiteer and make even more money and consolidate even more power. So that'll do it for today. I'm Fabian for Liberty. Like I said, a full breakdown analysis of this on today's podcast. The link is down below. Thanks for listening. I'm out.